Hello, my name is Rich Bishan. I'm the Associate Director for the Combined Federal Campaign Zone 28, which is in Ohio. Today, we're here to discuss the cause of the week, housing and shelter, which is the week of December 7th. Over 500,000 people are homeless on a single night in the U.S. One of the primary reasons for homelessness around the world is unexpected displacement due to conflict or disaster. Affected individuals, families, and communities are typically left with little to no resources. At this time, I'd like to invite you to find us on Facebook by taking a picture with your cell phone of the QR code in the bottom right-hand corner, which will be on the next screen as well. Today, we invite two local Ohio charities to help us understand the benefits of supporting their cause. Please welcome Kathy Stofak from the Homeless Families Foundation.
Thanks, Rich. I really appreciate being invited today.
Thank you for coming. And Pam Georgina from Lutheran Social Services of Central Ohio.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you, Pam. So, we have some questions lined up for you today. And let's start with Kathy. How has COVID impacted your organization?
Well, Rich, the answer is just like everyone else in the world, there's very little that COVID hasn't done to impact the Homeless Family Foundation. In April, we were identified as an essential service, and we needed to transform from our staff working in a satellite office to working remote. And in doing so, we still continue to provide 24/7 services for our families and children, and truly our staff have been nothing short of heroes and essential workers throughout. There's been a great impact upon our volunteer force. We've followed all CDC guidelines and been very cautious in limiting the number of volunteer service hours that we've used during a time that we needed our volunteers most of all. We've also seen a great change in our fundraising events. Our Hope Takes Flight event changed on a dime from being a signature in-person event at the Columbus airport to being a virtual concert event, and the community came through and supported us greatly through that. But most importantly and most critically, COVID-19 has had a direct, devastating impact on our families and children. They've seen very vulnerable situations where they were teetering from being independent in housing to being back on the streets again due to loss of jobs and loss of childcare.
Wow, I'm glad the community came through for you. We're seeing a lot of that. Pam, how has COVID impacted your organization?
So Lutheran Social Services operates a homeless shelter for adults in Franklin County called LSS Faith Mission, and one in Fairfield County, as well as a shelter for domestic violence victims in Franklin County. So, they're congregate settings, and that is just a really high risk environment for the spread of the virus. So, we had to space everybody out. We didn't want to turn away people. We wanted to make sure we kept ourselves, full, because the need is still there, regardless of the pandemic. So we basically spaced everyone out. We put people in conference rooms and meeting and training rooms and lobby areas, so that everybody could sleep 6 feet apart and be safe. That started in March and has continued through today, and will continue for the future. Who knows how long? Everybody wears masks. Everybody has hand sanitizer. Everybody gets their temperature checked and symptoms checked every time they come. They come in the building, as well as staff. This all applies to staff as well. So it was a big undertaking just to make the buildings safe for our staff and our residents, with that, and keep everyone there and not have to make them leave. aside from that, we had to stop doing a lot of our community-based programs, like the community kitchen, where we fed folks in the community 3 times a day. We had to stop doing that because it just wasn't the way to do it safely, and that's a sad thing. I hope that doesn't happen for very much longer, but it kind of is what it is. We're still feeding the folks in our shelters, and we will continue to do that. But, and like every organization, it's just, it's additional costs, additional man hours, and less volunteers. We couldn't have volunteers come into the building to serve meals, that kind of thing. It just wasn't safe. So there has been a lot of change in the shelters since the pandemic, but we're plugging through.
Wow, that's incredible. I'm really glad that you're trying your best not to turn anyone away for the night, because it's getting cold out there, and that's really important. I'm sure you are starting to see an uptake, and Godspeed with that, because you are doing an incredible job, and you are part of the heroes, just like our first responders. So that is wonderful. So we're going to go back to Kathy now, and we're going to ask our second question. We have a second of 3. So Kathy, what are your top 3 programs?
We have 3 overarching programs. Family Foundation. Our primary program that addresses homelessness is rapid rehousing. And so when families and children find themselves moving from the streets to shelters, we have a program in place to get them placed in permanent housing quickly. And as soon as we get them placed in that housing, they're assigned a social worker who provides wraparound services that leads to our second program, which is family stability. And these social workers, they develop a quick relationship with these families to make sure that they're safe, that they have the resources they need, and that they have everything that they need in order to be stable in their new home and to move forward. And then also our third program that we work with is homelessness prevention. And in homelessness prevention, we really focus on education for our children, as well as employment for our family members. And we have a special focus on transitional youth who are moving from school age to employment with this wraparound services of career goals, training, and employment opportunities for those young people.
Excellent. Those are great programs to have. And, the second one, where you're helping families be stable in the environment that they're in, that is truly the biggest program, in my opinion. Getting them into a house, yes, is pretty big, but keeping them there has got to be the priority, because and working with them on what they need to stay in that environment. Just incredible work that you're doing. So moving over to Pam, what are your top 3 programs?
So within the Faith Mission Shelter, I think one of our top programs is we have a federally qualified health center in the shelter. And this health center provides medical, dental, optometry, and behavioral health services to not only our residents, but also folks who are either homeless and on the street, or in danger of becoming homeless, maybe they're couch surfing, that kind of thing. And they need, we found, a lot of the barriers to keeping stable housing is, health issues, right? And so, and a lot of folks just don't feel like they're able to go to the doctor or have a doctor when, their income is as low as a lot of our folks are. And that's just not true. Our health center, can bill Medicaid or can, charge on a sliding scale. So anyone who needs medical services can get them. And that's, I think, a really important step in terms of getting people into stable housing and keeping them there, is for them to have a doctor and to be able to get those services that they need. Another one is employment resources. So again, hard to keep an apartment when you can't, when you don't have a job. And a lot of what we realize is that the most employers don't pay enough per hour to make the rent on a typical Columbus apartment. It's just a fact. It's just the way it is. There just aren't enough affordable housing units in Columbus and Franklin County for folks who are very low income. And so our Employment Resources Center works with certain employers who are willing and able to charge a living wage. And those, then we work with our residents to get them into those jobs. So that is a big step up in terms of keeping, getting them housed and keeping them stable is when they have a job, and have their health, basically. I think that the third program I would say is that we also have a veterans program for both men and women. We have a shelter within the shelter, for the vets. And then we also have other services, wraparound services for them. And we also have what's called an Ssbf program, which is a Veterans Administration program who helps families who are in danger of becoming homeless, keeping them housed. And we do that not only in Franklin County, but also Fairfield. And I think there's like 8 different counties, from here to the south that we work on with that program. So veterans are a big part of our initiative too.
Wow, Pam, as a veteran, I have to say thank you so much. They need all the help they can get. We're a smaller community, but you know what? We're very prideful, and sometimes it's just hard for us to reach out for help. And the fact that your agency offers help to veterans is just great to hear. So moving back to Kathy for our last question. Kathy, what are 3 things donors might not know about your organization?
I think that donors perhaps do not know that the Homeless Family Foundation is a community leader currently advocating for diversity, equity, and inclusion for all of the citizens in Columbus, Ohio. We see this as a very important need and topic, and as we serve the community in general, we're staying very focused on those topics. Also, I don't know if the community is aware of the fact, but the Homeless Family Foundation's actually been in existence for 35 years. In 2021, we'll be celebrating our 35th year of service. And the organization was actually founded by community members who believed it was unacceptable for any child to live in homelessness. And it really is the core belief for our call of action today. And our call of action today is not one child, not one night. And in turn, in this current year of 2020, we as a community leader have served more than 700 families and over 1,000 youth.
Those numbers are just awesome. Congratulations on your 35th year. Happy anniversary, I should say. So that's wonderful. So over to Pam, what are 3 things donors might not know about your organization?
I think the biggest one is that, when you hear Lutheran Social Services and you hear Faith Mission, you think, okay, they're part of a church. And that's not true. We are a faith-based organization, but we are not a church, and you don't have to be Lutheran to receive our services. Anyone who is in need can receive our services. At Faith Mission and all of our other programs. You don't have to be Lutheran. We don't make you pray. None of that. That I think is the biggest misconception about our organization. I think the other thing I would say is in terms of Faith Mission is that we only serve adults at Faith Mission, and we are noticing, this is just, I think, an interesting kind of fun fact. That's not really fun, but we are noticing that our clients, our residents, are getting older, and they're sicker than they have been in the past. For the homeless population in Columbus, and I can't really say, and in Central Ohio, I guess, is aging, and it's becoming kind of a little bit, scary, given how hard it is to be on the street, especially in the winter, for us to see that, because it's also harder, when you're older and sicker, it's also harder for them to find work and to keep that stable housing. So, the need grows because of that. I think the third thing I would say is that LSS is a big organization. There are other we have other programs under our umbrella, and we all work together. So if our clients need a food pantry when they go into, when they get their housing and they're in their apartment, but they still need a little bit of help, we have food pantries to help them. We hook them up there. The medical center, the domestic violence shelter, all of those services are available to any of our clients in any of our programs, including the folks in our shelters, our homeless shelters.
Yes, ma'am. Your organization's doing great work out there. So from me to you, both of you, thank you so much for everything you do. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we have Kathy Stofak from the Homeless Families Foundation, CFC code 16500, and Pam Georgina from Lutheran Social Services of Central Ohio, CFC code 27142. Let's reach out and support them any way we can. Thank you, you two, for coming, and have a blessed day.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Take care.